their mics. I'll make it easier for him to hear. Let's see. Can you hear me, Mr. Deinhardt?
I can hear you perfectly, thanks.
Great. Okay. Well, we have the other three members here. I guess what we'll do, we'll start with roll call so you can hear who's here. And there's no one in the audience, so I don't think we're going to have much citizen comment. And then we'll elect a chairperson, so the chairperson can then take over. Oh, okay, thank you. All right. So with that, let's go ahead and take the roll. Amanda?
Donna Butler. Here. Scott Peabody.
Yes, here.
Tim Knight.
Present.
Todd Deinhardt.
Okay. All right, so I guess the next question is there any citizen comment before we start? Okay, please go ahead.
This is my first time speaking here in Woodland. I'm from Central Washington, USA. My name is Kimberly Goheen Elba. I'm a life citizen of Clark County, Washington, USA. And I just want to speak about 30 seconds on what I do. I took an oath at the Vancouver Barracks to protect America from foreign and domestic enemies. And as I stand at the Vancouver City Council,
Have her pause until we can hear her.
Hugo,
Just one moment.
I made.
Okay, we got the.
Well, this is public comment, sir. Was this public comment? And
Yes, I'm sorry.
trying to introduce myself.
Yes, we were having trouble with the audio. Now the commissioners can hear you, so I just want to make sure they don't miss anything.
Okay, thank you. Well, shall I introduce myself? Kimberly Goheen Elben, life citizen of Clark County, Washington, USA. And again, I took an oath down at the Vancouver Barracks to protect America from foreign and domestic enemies. And as of 2 years ago, I found out that Vancouver City Council members are 15-year members of the United Nations entity called the ICLEI. It stands for International Council for Local Environmental Initiatives. And it is 400 plus cities strong. And Woodland, La Center, Battleground, we're all influenced by Vancouver, as we well know. Even you guys are up there in Cowlitz County. And they're following and through the lens of the United Nations, not the Constitution where the normal citizen believes they have voted them into. After this 3-year pandemic of being on Zoom sleep, I'm trying to wake up Clark County and Cowlitz for that matter. I know a lot of hundreds of people up there, to this scenario of a, believe it or not, one world order, and it starts in our grassroots government. So with that said, I like to stand up for the underdog and for the people. I serve God, family, and country. And so with that said, as far as being in the salary, the reason I'm speaking today is it's the only one that I could find quick enough because the Woodland City Council is not going to be speaking or having meetings and stuff. So I'll quickly get to the agenda. One thing I want to mention, I didn't really look over all the review salary commissions. That's really none of my business right now. However, I do want to state that on page 9 of 13, it does say that the salary commission, has public input. I've noticed that with our governments are too big, okay? And maybe not Woodland, maybe not La Center, but they're following Biden. He is actually a treasonous, and it's going to be coming out soon that that's what he is. And why would we want government officials following that agenda when they darn well know, especially Vancouver, Washington? They're a stubborn bunch, but they want to put light rail over there. So It's actually a United Nations takeover, and believe this or not, to depopulate. And I'll be speaking this week at the Clark County Board of Health, again, with other citizens, stating just that. We have facts, and we're on record for the last quite a few months, actually. And so when it says I accepted public input, I always question that really the public isn't being informed for the last 3 years. The government has had full reign of what's going on, including having treasonous Biden as their leader. And so I'm really against that. Also, I hate to say, but on page, just a quick thing, page 11 of 13, there is a misprint of the word salaries. It's not S-L-A-R-I-E-S, right? It's S-A-L. So anyway, that's just a quick little note. But I also want to make sure that this council knows, again, that I was going to speak at the Woodland Council meeting, but that the business of 20 after 4, I've got 2 questions. Where's all the money that was paid in for fines? You're the salary commission. Where did all that money go? And I might have to do a public records request. I don't know, but a lot of money went somewhere, and I think we the people should know. But I find it very troublesome that this council would, not you, but the council would get a judge, prosecutor, and everything. Are they using the monies from the fund for the fees for one thing, from 20 after 4? But that when it comes down to an even Steven type situation, as it comes to the government or the people win. We are the people. We are your boss. We love you. We pay your bills. Thank God for that. You have food on the table so far. We've got illegal immigrants coming in. Clark County is flooded with them. And doggone, here we are. So I'm saying this. The people get to have that building there. It is a natural herb. It's not to get high or anything. We people use it as for pain. It's I can tell you I've used it. I use it very rarely because it works well. And when a person feels better, they're more active and they do better. So I'm totally against that council shutting that place down, that business, and he was paying his fines and everything because he knows his rights. The state of Washington is okay for him to be there, but this council, for some reason, there is an agenda. I'm going to figure out what it is, but in the whole scheme of things, the agenda is a one world order, and it starts by your local government getting into, such as the ICLEI, like Vancouver has been 15-year members. Now, if you look at situations now, we had a pandemic. We have what I consider a fake president. I don't call him a president. He's going downhill. Nobody cares about that. They masked us. They shut us down. I will be speaking again this week, I said, at the Clark County Board of Health, stating that a year and a half ago, there was 300 Patriots strong at, Ridgefield High School. And we were standing there telling parents that they were jabbing their children without parent consent. And they did. Little did we know, though, that, of course, there was peer pressure. Children were coming out of there crying because other kids, oh, you're not taking the shot, you're not, and all that horrible, inhumane stuff that was planned by Fauci. I'm going to end that one, but that we did not know that, but we were 300 strong there at Ridgefield High School, and doggone if Clark County Board of Health didn't have some other buses jabbing children at another school, and we didn't know it. And I am very upset about that. We have our first vaccine injured testimony here last month at the Clark County Board of Health, and those people are just clamming up, and they're just going to carry on, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But wait until the people find out that they were exempt. Those people were exempt from what? What were they exempt from? Well, the COVID jab. Why? Why were they exempt and the people weren't? Well, I know why. We believe it is a depopulation program. I ask people to get a D-dimer test to see if they have blood clots. People are going to pass away, and I've heard of hundreds now. I lived here all my life. I talk. And doggone, I'll hear families that 4 people have died, and they're not getting the clue. They don't understand. And, well, no, they had a heart, and that one there had kidneys. Well, where do you think is going to be the weakest link in that particular person? And it's something that you can go on the Clark County Board of Health, go to some past documentation, and discern for yourself. I'm all for people discerning for themselves And so I'm just out there talking and doing what I can do. I do appreciate your time. I think that's about all I had to say. I was just going by some of my notes and things. I listened to, I told the public to listen to FM radio 101.1 all day and night. They have the truth on there. It's amazing that the radio would have the truth, but that's what I listen to. And then you can go home and discern for yourself. That's, what we're supposed to do. Just listen to something and then discern it for yourselves. And so thank you very much. God bless Woodland, Washington, USA. I love your little town there. I'm a pool competitor, and I played pool up there for many years. And just, we are a good, wonderful country here in Clark County and Cowlitz. And by God, they're ruining us. We don't have our heritage of country land anymore, and it's because of the America Rescrew plan that is using hard-earned tax dollars to pay for the illegal immigrants. And, I love people, but not when they're illegal. I know a lot of people that came here, under the right circumstances, and they resent it like the Dickens. So God bless you guys, and God bless America, and that's who I serve, God. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your comments. All right, moving on the agenda, the first item up is to elect a chairperson, as this is our first meeting. So are there any nominations for a chairperson?
I nominate Scott.
All right, so Mr. Deinhardt, I don't know if you could hear that, but we have a nomination for Scott Peabody and a second.
Perfect.
So Mr. Knight did the motion, and Donna Butler, Mrs. Butler was the second. So if we're ready, we'll take a vote.
Donna Butler. Scott Peabody.
I guess so.
Tim Knight. Todd Deinhardt.
Aye.
All right, so Mr. Peabody is now the chair, and I'll turn the meeting over to him. Just a reminder, it's good if the chair directs the conversation so one person speaks at a time. It's just better for the minutes. So if we get into the habit of raising hands or getting the chair's attention, that should work. All right, Mr. Chairman.
So, let's move on. The review, the salary commission duties and process. I hope that everybody got to read what was sent out. Is there any questions on that?
Hey, Peter, can you move your microphone closer to him anyway, or?
Oh,
Oh yeah, so when you talk into the mics, you have to do this close.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear it. Yeah, that's better. Thank you.
Is that better? Yeah, it's these microphones, you have to be right on them, so.
Yep.
Great.
So you can hear me now?
Yep, perfect.
All right, thanks. So I hope everybody's had a chance to go through, and Peter, thank you for sending that out, so you had a chance to read it over.
So would you,
Discussions on that?
I'm assuming, being new to this, that this is by using comparisons is the best way to determine the salaries that we're supposed to be judging.
can you hear that, Mr. Deinhardt?
Very softly, but
Okay, I would just, being brand new to this, I've noticed that, trying to determine the mayor's salary, the city council's, not salaries, but stipends, I guess. That the best way to do that is to just compare it to other local cities around us that are similar size.
So is that moving on to item C? Discussing that?
Well, yeah, but our process is
our
to go
duties and-
through, as far as our
Okay.
process is to go through other similar positions.
I think that's why we've got the comparisons.
Right.
Yeah, I'm afraid everyone's gonna have to speak closer in the mic. Mr. Deinhardt is having a hard time.
Like an inch away. Yeah, sorry.
Yep.
Otherwise
He's
Yes.
shaking his head yes, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the way I perceive it too, is we have a comparison to like populations and stuff, and what their city council and what their mayor is getting paid. And that's something that we're supposed to go through, this is what I gathered. I think
Right. Is this the only information that we use for determining this?
Mr. Chairman, so the committee can compile whatever information you wish and have whatever procedure you wish to set these salaries. I provided a salary survey from Association of Washington Cities. It's 2022 data. I looked at two different things. I tried to look in our neighborhood, geographically, what others were making. And then I did a search of cities with a population of 4,000 up to 8,000. And that's the second grouping. But if there's other information the committee would want, we can dig it out for you. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Deinhardt is requesting to speak.
Go ahead, Mr. Bennett.
So, being that compensation is kind of a little bit of my background here, so what I did, I'll just come clean with my first thought is, I know the RCW says that we need to pay them, kind of a deal. My view is we want people who are passionate, who want the best of the community and thrive. And so I sit there and I go, are we required to pay them? Do we not? Kind of a deal. So regardless of where that is, because I kind of, view, I think, there are cities that don't pay, kind of a deal. But if we want to, as a group agree that, hey, we should pay them, what I did is I took each of these files that Peter put out there, and then I took what each of those cities are getting paid per resident. So, for example, Longview, the mayor makes $15.60, population of 37,780. It's 4.13 cents per person. That ranks ninth. And so what I did is I went through based off per person, what is each city paying? And then I did a weighted average. I did it two different ways. I did it as the first way is a weighted average, including Woodland in there. And then I did a weighted average where I said, okay, let's take Woodland out of there and say, if Woodland was out of the picture, what would we pay on this weighted average of people around us, kind of a deal. And so when I did that based on population, it's right around $500 a month is what the mayor would make, versus the 1,000 that's currently making.
And that's through the city of Woodland? And that's for the city of Woodland? The Woodland city mayor?
Talk a little closer.
I think you,
Is,
It's on. No, it's on.
Is it on?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
now it is, now it is.
Maybe we need to get some new technology.
I think he said that was.
Okay, for that was for the city, Woodland mayor, right?
Yeah, so I did it for mayor, and then I also did it for counselors. And so I kind of thought, there are two different positions, so we would kind of look at them each different compensation-wise. And so, yeah, I do have that data that I put together. And I did it for the regional area like Peter did, and then I did it also for the cities that are the 4,000 to 8,000 cities, 4,000 to 8,000 citizens piece as well.
Okay. Now, I have a question for Peter. We're going to be able to get together as a group without having this so that we can talk things over, or does this have to be done here?
It's a public meeting, so it has to be
Okay.
open and
Okay.
the
Just-
public's open to attend.
Okay. Very good.
So, Mr. Deinhardt, did you get a figure for council as well as the mayor?
Absolutely, Donna. So what I did on council, I did the exact same thing, but council is a little bit trickier in the sense that we pay them for a meeting attendance as well, so they get a check plus meeting attendance. And so what I did is I assumed, I know what happens when we assume, but I threw in there that they would have 2 meetings per month that they would attend. And then some of the other cities did the exact same thing where they get paid per meeting. And so to put it on the level playing field, I assumed that it was 2 as well. And so when I do that, the council members are in that with the weighted average, including us and without, it's right around $247, $248. And currently they're making roughly that $250. They make $150 plus $50 per meeting.
Right.
So that is in line. Go ahead, Peter, or somebody, sorry.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, that was one of the other items where we had the last order from this commission. So Mr. Deinhardt is correct. So there's $150 a month every city council member makes. If they attend a meeting, it's another $50 a month. The last committee was trying to incentivize city council members to attend as many meetings as possible, just so you know what some of that discussion was. And then there's also $25 per meeting if they're acting as a representative of the committee. So for instance, the mayor doesn't get this, but we used to have Susan Humbert, who was a city council member, attend the CW COG meetings, for instance, where city council said, you be our representative.
And I remember her doing that. And I think she went up to Whatcom County too,
Right.
and did some stuff up there too.
And so usually it's 2 meetings a month. There is an occasional special meeting, but that's rather rare. During the budget season, October, November, sometimes into December, there will be a meeting every week until the budget's adopted. So there could be, 4 meetings a month during that time period. So just want to make sure you have all the information.
Okay, and that would be $50 a meeting.
Right. And
Okay.
Mr. Deinhardt is correct that a lot of cities don't count meetings. Some do, some don't. So, it's again, it's up to this committee how you want to compensate.
Okay. The other thing I kind of remember is you have to attend so many meetings too, or you get let go. And I know they've done that in the past. So am I correct on that?
Yeah, so there is some language in the council rules that talks about that. I don't have it on the tip of my tongue right now, but we really never had an issue until we had a city councilor who resigned a little while ago. And so city council is, they've been reviewing that. They haven't come to any consensus yet on how they want to go, but they're looking at their attendance policy. Right now in the council rules, it talks about missing, I forget the number, I want to say 3 or 4 meetings. Don't quote me on that. But it has to be, it says regular meetings. So that excludes special meetings, which do happen from time to time. So city council needs to come down on that, how they want to handle that.
Yeah.
But there are some provisions where if someone misses that many consecutive regular meetings, they could be asked to leave the council.
I think it was 4.
It could be,
Okay.
yeah.
But I'm getting old, so my memories. Okay. Go ahead.
Is our aim tonight to set the salary for the next 6 months, 1 year, or what's the timing on this?
So the ordinance talks about the committee completing its work by September 1st, and then it could be incorporated into the budget for January 2024. So ideally, I think it talks about doing this every 2 years. So that would set the salaries for a 2-year period, 2024 and 2025. And the idea of having the work done before September 1 is if, there can be elected officials or candidates like Mr. Deinhardt, then the public can understand, what the compensation is going to be and take that into account when they do vote in November. So.
And that way also, correct me if I'm wrong, it gets into the budget for next year. They can count that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So whatever this body decides, city council has no discretion over it. So whatever this body decides is what goes.
Okay.
And that decision could be made tonight?
Well, I think so. I'd rather have another meeting, simply because I'd like to draw up the order in writing, so the public can see it. And it does talk about having public input. We did put public input on this, but I think it might solicit more public input if they see, you know, what this body is considering. So I would suggest at least one more meeting. Let me know how you want to put this together. I'll draw up a document with the city attorney, have him review it, and then we'll take it back for a vote and hold a public meeting so citizens may comment.
Right, and, go ahead. No, I was just gonna say, I agree with that. This is something new to all of us, and we just wanna make sure we get it right. So, if you could do that, that would be,
Sure. So, you know, we've got different items on the agenda, but they do all kind of run together.
right.
So, however the committee wants to handle this, as far as giving staff direction, if you need more information, or if you want to direct us to put together a document for consideration at the next meeting, you know, we're just looking for guidance at this point.
Okay, well, if we can put a document, but is that something you send out like you did with this, so we can
Sure.
go, it's not just run into it blind when we get to the meeting?
No, we'd notice another meeting. I'd put a packet together the way we did for this meeting. That way it's online, the public can see it, and should give you a few days to ponder it to see if any changes need to be made, or so.
No, I appreciate that, and then it makes it transparent too.
I have a question for Mr. Deinhardt. That information that you put together on the salaries and breaking it down per citizen, do you have that in a spreadsheet that you could send out to us?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. Actually, it's a spreadsheet, but I can put it in a PDF file, because I mean, in full transparency, I would love for it to be attached to the meeting note. I mean, as part of the conversation here.
Correct, yes. Sounds like
again,
good
any
information.
calculations
Sounds like
should be
very
out there.
good information. Thank you.
Sounds like you're gonna do that anyway, so I think it's good information.
And it's,
Oh, go ahead,
and
Ms.
it
Spelman.
sounds like the council, current compensation is very equal to what Mr. Deinhardt, found in his work. Is that correct?
100%, Donna. Yep. 250 versus the 247. So yeah, I mean, it's very, very similar.
Well, I have one thing that I think might be a consideration for Woodland. We've been comparing it to other cities, in light of the fact that, the levy failed here in our town, and so the school has experienced cutbacks. And people have been, needing to pay or budget into their own personal budgets more money for their water and utility. So people are kind of shifting things around, that it would be understandable if we went to buy the figures that Mr. Deinhardt did and there was a cut. I mean, it would be understandable. I'm just throwing that out as something to consider. At this point, I don't think it would be unreasonable, but
I mean, as far as I can see, the only information we have is what other cities and towns have
Right.
done. I mean, you know, I don't know what his costs are or what he's made in the past. I don't have any of that information. All I have is what Mr. Deinhardt and this PDF says.
yeah.
Correct.
That's all I have to make, and based on that, it does seem he is approximately overpaid by 2 times.
And that's what you came up with, Mr. Deinhardt?
What was the question I came up with? What was that?
That your figures that the mayor is getting paid twice what he should be getting paid? Did I copy that
Yeah,
right?
so hold on a second. I'm not saying should. I mean, I just want to show my calculations. So if I look at Longview, La Center, Battleground, Camas, you know, those areas that are around us, that is where it comes out around the $510 to $535 piece. So somebody asked a question about expenses. I think expenses are differently. So if a mayor or a council member has a expense, they get reimbursed for that expense. It would not come out of this check here. So these expenses or these payments here are basically for time spent. It's not any reimbursement of an expense. Those are totally separate.
Correct.
Right, so that is correct, and city councilors are eligible to reimburse expenses also if they travel to meetings and whatnot. They generally don't. I've only had one city council member, I think, since I've been here, request a reimbursement. So yeah, that is correct. That doesn't come out of their compensation unless they don't request the expense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where we're at right now is just getting used to what we're supposed to be doing, I guess. So this is all new to me, and I know it's new to everybody else.
Right.
So I would like to get something together, if you could, Peter.
Sure. Let me summarize. What I'm hearing from the committee, and please, the commission, please let me know if I'm wrong, is that you would like to draw up a document to compensate based on Mr. Deinhardt's figures. Is that what I'm hearing?
We would like to
Yes.
use it as,
As a guideline or something, yeah.
Okay. So what I could do is, and I know you all want to see this information.
Hey, Peter,
Yes.
am I allowed to email that, or is it on your Zoom? Can I share the document? How does that work? I don't know
Well,
with your Zoom technology. If I'm allowed to,
We can share the screen, I believe. Amanda?
but am I allowed to submit an additional document that hasn't been out there? Am I allowed to do that though, Peter?
In the context of the public meeting, yes.
Okay.
If we conclude this meeting, I was going to ask that you email the document to me so I can distribute, so we don't have an illegal meeting.
Correct.
If you wanted to email it right now, we could share it now. And then
Okay.
it would be public and everyone could see it.
And that would go into the meeting minutes, is that correct?
We can definitely put it in the minutes, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so I need to open my email here.
Who would you like me to email that to, Peter?
You can email it to me. I'm going to unplug the screen for a moment just so I can type in my password and not have it out there
So,
for
Peter, you're
everyone.
gonna have to help me out on your email. I mean, it's not like
sure. You don't have it memorized? So it's my last name, Boyce, B as in boy, O-Y-C-E,
Yep.
the letter P as in Pete,
Yep.
at ci.woodland.wa.ws.
Okay.
WS?
Are we trying to get that up on the screen, is that?
Yeah,
Okay.
so bear with me a moment here.
Peter, you're sharing all your email, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's okay. Just
Thank you for the heads up.
closure. Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
so currently this is,
Okay.
if we do a decrease, it'll go into effect the new term.
Yes.
Correct.
For the new.
That would be
for
Jan,
either the reelect mayor or.
When is that going to effect?
be January first
Same
January
time,
1st,
Very same
yeah.
time.
Okay.
of '24, yes.
Seems like we're having the election quite early then, aren't we?
Well, this is the primary.
primary.
And then November will be the.
Did you get it, Peter? I'm in a coal mine.
I do not have it yet.
Yeah, we're just in the primary, and I think the top two.
You know what,
will
Peter?
compete when
Address was
they
not
go into
found,
the
so
regular
hold on here a second.
General.
BOYCEP
Yeah.
at
CI
CI,
dot woodland
yep,
dot WA
yep,
dot US.
yep. Okay. Let's try that one, sir.
Okay, just waiting here.
You should be able to share a file with you through Teams, through Skype, Zoom.
All right, I just received it.
And I just got an emergency text. My mother fell.
Oh
And
no.
I need to talk to the family. I hate to do that to you, but I need to find out what's going on. She's 90 years old.
Yep, yep. Understandable.
Yeah, you can tell.
Let's see.
I need to make a phone call. I'm sorry.
No problem. Mothers are very important.
My mom's just down the road too. She's 83. Falls are the worst. We were just talking about my mom's neighbor. She fell and hit her head. Those falls are the worst.
Where did I find that now?
They're the number one cause of death. Yeah, they don't have me this favor.
Okay, we've got your spreadsheet up now, I believe. Can you see it, Mr. Diner?
Yeah, I can. So, do you want me to walk through this really quickly?
Yes, please.
So, the top section here through lines 20, you can see I just took basically, I took line for line Peter's work that said Longview, the population, the compensation, and then I took the total compensation divided by the population to get us a cost per citizen, because I think when it comes down to it is how much is each citizen putting towards the compensation. And then that far right column in the M, I just ranked 1 through 9, so to speak. And you can see that we would be, right currently at $1,000, we're fourth. And so when I did the weighted average of 535, that is the weighted average of the pieces. When I just take the average, all I do is just look at the average of that 10,500 divided by, the 9 areas, boom, and away we go. So that's, I take the compensation average per person times it by ours, and that's how you get to the $812, which really doesn't tell you much because that's just an average, and so somebody's one or the other. And then down below, this here, for the 4,000 to 8,000, I think this here is a little bit misleading. If you look at some of these communities, they're a lot different. Their demographics, the income levels are completely different. And so I don't know that I would really consider using a statewide look rather than just a regional look of here locally, would be my opinion. And then if you go all the way down, I did the exact same thing for our city council. And you can see our city council is ranked 6th. And here I want to be clear, I just took and assumed 2 meetings at $50 a piece. There's a couple other councils that pay per meeting, and to be equivalent, I assume that they did those same 2 meetings so that it wasn't wonky where one is going to more meetings or the other. And you can see the weighted average is 247, 247. kind of a deal. And right now they're at 250. So, I mean, I think that that's very much in line.
Yeah, that seems like good information, really does.
Yeah.
It's pretty detailed.
So a little bit of background is I, help out with the compensation for our large company and market analysis. And so it's really trying to get down to, hey, what is the market analysis? What is driving it? And again, I think we have similar issues of, growth, similar housing issues, similar, transportation issues. So it's not like one city could say, ooh, we have a bigger issue than that. So that's the reason I went with the population that was there.
Right.
Very good.
So, Mr. Chairman and council, so for, or commission, so for drawing up the document, are we talking about getting rid of the $150 base rate plus $50 per meeting and going to $250 per month? Or do we still want the 150, or basically the way it is, with the $50 per meeting?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think the way they have it set up now looks big. 'Cause
Yeah.
then if they don't show up.
They don't
period,
show up, that's-
there's not, that's your incentive to come, that you will get your full $250 by attending.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
How
because if
many
they-
meetings did they have last year?
I don't have the total number, but in general, they do meet two nights a month, with the exception of October through November, where they meet at least 4 times a month in order to. I'm sorry. Amanda's telling me she thinks they had 28 meetings last year.
Okay, so that's $1,400 in meeting fees.
Correct. And did they got that $50 during the October and all that when it was extra meetings too? Is that correct?
Right, so they could get up to 4 meetings a
Okay.
month. That was the limit in place.
So I agree with you. I think that there's an incentive to show up for the meetings. If they're gonna just get paid and don't show up,
no.
so. So I'd like to keep it the way it is.
Yeah.
Any comments
So-
on that?
Mr. Deinhardt?
So, again, if we do 28 meetings, $50 per meeting, plus $150 per month, yada, yada, that comes out to then, on average, $266 a month. So it's still in line. So I would support that with what you all are supporting there. And I would totally support what Donna said about, hey, enticing them to come to the meetings and keeping it with 150 plus $50 per meeting.
Are we all in agreement of that?
I am.
I am.
I am too.
Seems like everyone's on board.
Yeah.
And then the mayor, are we in consensus that it be 500 per month?
I am.
Let's talk about that. So he gets 1,000 or 1,100 right now?
$1,000 a month.
Okay.
Whereas the average that other cities around us is a little over 500.
Okay.
Can you scroll that back
Yeah,
up to the mayor?
that's fine, sure.
535. If I'm seeing that right.
Is that correct? 535?
Yeah, that's the weighted average based on population. So if you were to take the total compensation, the 10,500 divided by 9 people, the average is $1,166. If you said, boom, what is the average pay for a mayor? That would be $1,166. But if you go back and say, hey, what is our driving factor to pay somebody? And if we said it was based on number of citizens, that's how we would get to the calculation of the 535. I mean, so to be fair, I would just go to the 550.
Right, that's
I
what
mean,
I'm thinking.
or 500, but I could support whatever, but I mean, I'm a firm believer you go off number of citizens that you're representing.
And that's the correct population right now?
I believe so.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Well, we're
so-
talking pennies if it's, not,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to look up the current census estimate,
Yeah.
but
I think based,
it's right in that ballpark. I
Okay.
can confirm that.
I'm just curious. We don't have to split hairs over it, so,
but based on our size, I like the idea of 550 to 600.
yeah.
I would go with that.
Now, he doesn't get paid for meetings?
No. So it doesn't matter how many meetings he attends, that's the only compensation.
So where do we want to go on that? Dorothy? Can I put you on the spot?
Donna.
That's good. Starts with a B.
What did I say? Oh, Donna. No, I'm terrible at names.
I hear you.
And I have a funny story over that, and I won't tell it right now, but I'm horrible at names, so I'm sorry, Donna.
No, that's fine, I don't care. Yeah,
Yeah, so-
I'd go with, the 550.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
It just seems fair.
Yeah.
So the current population estimate I'm looking at, 6,523.
Okay.
So they're both very close.
Yeah.
So I don't think it really matters which one.
Doesn't
you
really
choose.
matter. I think that the committee's looking at 550, which would, that's what, 450 down? But that's comparing apples to apples, so to speak, from other cities.
It seems reasonable.
Okay, so I think I'm hearing consensus on 550 for the mayor, so I can include that in the document.
Yes,
Correct.
sir.
Okay. And in the next packet, I was hearing consensus, you would like Mr. Deinhardt's spreadsheet to be a part of that packet?
Correct.
Okay, will do.
Hey, Peter, do you need me to send that as a PDF or so that it's not changeable? I mean, I don't know what your protocol is on this. I can do it either way.
Whatever you're comfortable with, when we do the packets, it automatically goes to PDF format.
Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I don't want to have it so it's changeable. I want to have it the way it,
Right, yeah. So when we post things online, it's always a PDF.
great.
Right.
Yep.
I just didn't know if you needed it as PDF or Excel works for you.
Excel works fine. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
And thank you, Mr. Dishart, for putting that together.
Nope. It's all good.
And I guess from the commission, we'd also need to know when you want to have your next meeting. I am going to be on vacation for 2 weeks, next week and the week after, but we can have another staff person sit in to accommodate whatever schedule the committee would like.
I won't be available till September,
Starting when?
the 1st of September.
So
And we
so
have to
you'll-
have this turned in before.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So
When are you
I'm leaving on the 13th, so August 13th.
And is August, what day is that?
I can do Zoom as well, though, too, if I'm not here, so that's fine as well.
That's
and
fine.
3 members would be a quorum, so the commission could conduct business as long as 3 of you are present.
Right, and we're flying to Rapid City, August 2nd through the 8th. Yeah, because we're going to run into September here pretty quick.
So how about August 14th, Monday?
That's a oh, no, that's not council meeting. Sorry.
No,
Council meeting is
council's
the week before, yeah.
That's open.
That might work.
That's the second, August 14th is the second Monday, and that works for me.
I said I was leaving the 13th, I'm leaving the 16th, so I will be here on the
Oh,
14th.
okay. Mr. Deinhardt, does that date work for you?
Perfect. Yep.
So let's make it August 14th for the next meeting.
Are you okay with 6 p.m.?
Yes. 6 p.m. for everybody?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Okay.
And I apologize, I'm a little new at this, plus I got other things going on. My mom's getting taken by ambulance to the hospital, so.
I would think so.
I already talked to the paramedics on scene. I don't know if you guys know I'm a paramedic. I've been a paramedic for 46 years, and I teach, but so I know who's picking her up. And anyway, I apologize, but she's 89 years old, going on 90. And so I'm sorry to get interrupted.
I just had the same experience with my 87-year-old mother, so she's healing up now, but yeah.
But she fell and she didn't break her hip. That was the big thing. Anyway. Thank you, Mr. Diehart.
So, Mr. Chairman, if the commission is through, we don't adjourn meetings anymore. According to the state auditor, we end meetings. So if
Okay.
there's a motion to end the meeting, we could move on.
A motion to conclude the meeting?
I second it.
Very good. Any discussion on that?
Let's go.
We are done. Thank you,
Excellent.
everyone. And thank you for calling in.
Yeah, thank you for setting up Zoom. I tried to get this meeting moved, but, so I'm gonna go back down the mine.
Okay. All
So,
right, thank you.
hey, I appreciate everyone's help on this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.